She thought I would quietly disappear like always. This time I did leave, but forever. 12 years of marriage, and I thought I understood everything about us. That night, we sat across from each other in a small Italian restaurant in downtown Chicago, celebrating our anniversary. Soft music played, candles flickered, and for a moment, everything felt normal. She looked beautiful, calm, distant. We talked, laughed a little, but something felt off. I ignored it. Maybe it was just one of those days. When the bill arrived, I stood up. Let me pay. She smiled slightly. Don't take too long. I walked to the counter, but there was a line. As I waited, I could still hear her voice from behind. Then her tone changed. I can't keep doing this, she said. I froze. I glanced back and saw a man sitting across from her. I hadn't even noticed him before. He leaned in. I know. Then she said the words that ended everything. Don't worry. He'll quietly disappear soon. He always does. He never questions anything. My heart didn't break. It went silent. 12 years. And that's what I was to her? Someone invisible, replaceable. I didn't go back. I paid the bill, including their drinks, and walked out. No confrontation, no scene, just silence. My phone started ringing. Her name over and over again. I didn't answer. That night, I drove for hours with no destination. By morning, I had made a decision. I wasn't going back. The next few weeks were hard. Letting go of 12 years isn't easy, but slowly I started rebuilding. New city, new life, new routines. For the first time, I focused on myself. 3 months later, I filed for divorce. That's when her messages changed. Apologies, regret, second chances. But I was already gone. Not just physically, emotionally too. One day, months later, she called again. I looked at the screen and declined. Not out of anger, but because the man she thought would always stay no longer existed. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away without saying a word. I didn't go back to the table. I didn't confront her or create a scene. Instead, I simply paid the bill, including their drinks, and walked out of that restaurant with a calm I had never felt before. The cold night air hit my face, but for once I hardly noticed. My car started, and I drove aimlessly, letting the streets guide me. Every mile I put between us, I felt something breaking, and something else growing inside me. Memories of the years we had spent together flashed in my mind, both beautiful and painful. The laughter, the holidays, the shared dreams, they were all part of me. But they no longer held me captive. My phone buzzed repeatedly, messages and missed calls from her flashing on the screen, each one heavier than the last. I didn't answer a single one. For the first time in years, I allowed silence to be my shield. Hours passed. I drove through neighborhoods and highways I had never visited, not caring where I was going. I realized that leaving was not about punishment or anger. It was about reclaiming my own life. I stopped imagining her words, her face, her explanations. I simply existed in the quiet, in the dark, in the freedom of not having to explain myself to anyone who had already made their choice. Each passing moment made me stronger, clearer. I began to understand that sometimes the people who love us are not the ones who see us, and the ones who see us are the ones we must chase, not chase them, but find ourselves in their absence. And so I kept driving, not looking back, letting the city lights fade behind me, letting the weight of years and expectations fall away with every mile. For the first time, I was entirely alone, but I wasn't lonely. I was awake, I was aware, and I was finally, painfully, beautifully free.